Sometimes all it takes is a few days away to realize how much life has changed. This week, my husband and I drove a few hours north of San Francisco to a tiny coastal town called Mendocino. We brought the RV, stayed in a cozy little cabin tucked away in the forest, explored rugged cliffs, quiet beaches, and spent a few days doing almost nothing. Somewhere between watching the waves crash against the rocks and walking through the redwood trees, I found myself thinking about something. If my 20-year-old self could see my life today, I don't think she'd recognize it. Not because everything went according to plan, but because almost none of it did. There's something about Mendocino that feels different from most places in California. It's not flashy. There are not giant attractions or luxury resorts. It's just cliffs overlooking the Pacific Ocean, old wooden buildings, quiet streets, and endless waves crashing against the rocks. We spent the morning walking around Point Cabrillo Lighthouse. This lighthouse has been standing here for over 100 years, guiding ships through thick coastal fog. I always think lighthouses are kind of beautiful. They don't chase after anyone, they simply stay where they are, quietly helping those who need them. One afternoon, we hiked around Russian Gulch State Park. The trail winds through the fort, opening up to dramatic cliffs along the coastline. Watching the waves crush into the rocks over and over again, it reminds me how small I am compared to nature. Honestly, if you had asked me 15 years ago what my life would look like at 35, I probably would have said something completely different. I thought I would always be climbing the corporate career ladder, trying to make more money, maybe have a kid, a predictable routine, maybe a nice house. Definitely not an RV, definitely not YouTube, and definitely not spending random weekdays exploring coastal towns. What's funny is that I used to hate the idea of camping. I needed unlimited hot water, unlimited electricity, and Wi-Fi. Basically, ultimate comfort. But now, some of my happiest moments happen inside this tiny van. I think it's because the van changed what I pay attention to. Instead of thinking about square footage, I started thinking about experiences. Instead of decorating a bigger home, I started collecting memories. Downtown Mendocino is tiny. You can walk across it in less than 20 minutes. Little cafes, bookstores, art galleries, no one seemed to be in a hurry. And honestly, I think we could all use a little more of that. I didn't always know what I wanted to do. I studied computer engineering because it felt practical. My family needed financial stability, so choosing a career that paid well felt like the most responsible thing to do. After graduating, I landed a job in Silicon Valley. I was surrounded by incredibly smart engineers. Eventually, I moved into program management. I learned leadership, communication, human psychologies, and those years taught me a lot. But after a while, I realized something. I didn't want to spend the rest of my life climbing a ladder that I wasn't even excited to be on. That eventually led me here, making videos, living more slowly, building a life that actually feels like mine. I think confusion gets a bad reputation. We treat it like something is wrong, but sometimes feeling lost is simply your mind telling you that you've outgrown the life you're living. If I never felt stuck, I probably never would have changed directions. A few days after we came home, our oldest dog, Bobby, passed away. He was 16 and a half years old. Over the past year, we watched him slowly lose his mobility, his eyesight, his hearing, and little by little, his energy. I thought I was prepared, but when it finally happened, I realized you can never really prepare yourself for saying goodbye to someone you love. We still have 2 senior dogs at home, and of course, I worry about the future sometimes. But this trip reminds me of something. Life doesn't become meaningful because it lasts forever. It becomes meaningful because it doesn't. Every walk, every road trip, every quiet morning, every ordinary day with people or animals you love is something you'll never get back. So maybe that's a lesson I'm taking away from this week. We spend so much of our time planning for the future, but happiness has always been hiding in the ordinary moments happening right now. If my 20-year-old self could see me today, I think she'd be surprised. Not because my life turned out exactly the way I planned, but because it turned out better in ways I never could have imagined. Thanks for spending a little part of your day with me. I'll see you in the next one.